Hello everyone. Today we are going to talk about gender gap in higher judiciary, which is a very important thing for us to analyze. If you look at it, the Indian Supreme Court has played a very important role in giving numerous judgments which have led to the empowerment of women. Take the case of Vishaka guidelines, which are the first guidelines to prevent sexual harassment at workplace. Take the case of Shabanu judgment, which extended the Muslim women rights of maintenance on divorce, or otherwise you take the example of the recent Sabarimala judgment. So if you look at the Sabarimala judgment, there also women are permitted to enter into the temple complex. This way the Supreme Court played a very important role in bringing about gender justice in India and also women empowerment. But is the Supreme Court practicing what it is preaching? Let us put a mirror to the Supreme Court. And if we put the mirror to the Supreme Court, we can very clearly see that in the higher judiciary, there is only 14.27% representation of women. And it's not just about 14.27%. Across the high courts of India, wherein we have nearly 23 high courts, there is only one high court, there is the Gujarat High Court, which has its Chief Justice as a woman. And even in the Supreme Court also, the situation is no better. There are only two women Supreme Court judges currently. One is Chief Justice Nagar, and the second one is the Justice Bela Trivedi. Only two women judges are present in the Supreme Court too. Then over and above that, till date, we did not have any women Chief Justice, even though Justice Nagaratna is about to become the first woman Chief Justice in the year 2027. But as on date, that is till the year 2025, that is 75 years after Indian independence, there has not even been a single woman Supreme Court Chief Justice. See how there is a discrimination in the judiciary, which is systemic. And apart from being systemic, it is also deep-seated inequality which is present, which shows the poor representation of women in a higher judiciary. And if we, in fact, have a look at it, the first woman lawyer in India practiced in the year 1924. That is almost 100 years before today. The first woman lawyer, she practiced in the High Court, and her name is none other than Cornelia Sorabji. Cornelia Sorabji is the first woman lawyer of India who, in fact, was recognized by the Bar Council in the year 1924. Then over and above that, let us try to analyze why the women are underrepresented in the higher judiciary. Just like any other corporate field, any other government sector, women seems to face the issue of glass ceiling in judiciary. Glass ceiling is nothing but, if you look above, for the sake of career progression, the things seem very transparent. It is very clear path, okay, and you will be able to achieve the higher positions in judiciary. But the real meaning of glass ceiling is, even though the things are transparent, there is an inherent restriction for women in crossing the barrier and occupying important positions of power. And if you understand this, the Supreme Court, it's not just about the women who are going to gain from representing women. It is the Supreme Court, it is going to gain a lot by giving more representation to women. Because any judicial authority is based on legitimacy. That is the people's acceptance of the authority of the judiciary. And if 50% of the population has only 14% representation, then naturally it will raise some important questions on the legitimacy of the judiciary itself. Then the second thing is, if women enter into the higher ranks of judiciary, it will lead to more gender sensitivity in judgments, and it also make it easy for the women to approach the courts. Because having a woman in the position of power in the court will make more women, okay, in fact, it will make easy for women to access the judiciary. This is the third benefit that is going to happen. And in fact, for that matter, I'll tell you one prominent example of Nagaratna. Justice Nagaratna, over the past few years, she has given some exceptionally good judgments, and she is the only judge who, in fact, outrightly called the demonetization exercise as unlawful. In fact, she used very harsh terminology by saying that the parliament was left aloof, and the RBI was also intimated just 24 hours, and they did not apply their mind on the process of demonetization. And in fact, she is the only person who had the courage to speak truth to power. So these kind of judgments we can anticipate if more women are present in the judiciary. So that is the reason why there is a clear need to increase the women in judiciary. So whatever it might be, the Supreme Court also should in its collegium make a criteria for promoting women in judiciary, and very soon we should expect that nearly 33% to, if not 33%, 50% of women in higher judiciary should be from the background or from the women. So this is what we need to anticipate and we should fight for, and let's hope that the higher judiciary will take a reasoned approach to this request and it will be able to increase the number of women in higher judiciary. Thank you.
కాంపిటేటివ్ ఎగ్జామ్ సంబంధించి ప్రత్యేకంగా సివిల్ సర్వీసెస్ ఎగ్జామ్ సంబంధించి ఏ ఆప్షన్ చూస్ చేసుకోవాలి, ప్రిపరేషన్ ఎప్పుడు స్టార్ట్ చేయాలి, ఏ బుక్స్ రిఫర్ చేయాలి, ఇలాంటి డౌట్స్ ఉంటే CSB-IS అకాడమీని కాంటాక్ట్ అవ్వచ్చు. దీనికి సంబంధించి నా పర్సనల్ అపాయింట్మెంట్ ఈ వీడియో పైన డిస్ప్లే అవుతున్న కాంటాక్ట్ నెంబర్కి ఫోన్ చేసి తీసుకోవచ్చు.